Namaste. Salam alaikum. Jajalupa. Severo. Fafulla. Bonjour. Thank you very much for having me. It's a great honor and privilege to be with you all. Do you have any guess about my talk, about my story? She has already given a kind of hint. Today I will share the most ignored but the most important reality of human civilization since the time of Homo sapiens. Every day we keep listening about the unequal power, patriarchy, exclusion from our politicians, academicians, activists, and all of us. While we talk about the social justices, human rights, including prevention of rape, elimination of the caste discrimination, or advancing the political participation. Have you ever thought how do construct unequal power relation, patriarchy and exclusion? You may thought it's because of the gender, religion, class, education, or country. To me, before the religion, before the caste, before your ethnicity or educational identity or any power is like Kesapande, there is something hiding and we never talk. That is menstrual discrimination. Menstrual discrimination is not the single act or event. It is a complex and it is a range of perception and practices that includes silence, ignorance, stigma, restriction, abuses, violence, deprivation from resources and services. In Nepal, we have already identified over 50 euphemism or indirect way of calling for menstruation. And globally, it is already over 5,000 euphemism reported. It is very complex. It's with food, touch, mobility, health, education, infrastructure, tourism, even space, everywhere. Because menstruators means those who born with the uterus and ovaries are everywhere. Stop for using the word of Chaupadi. It means the menstruation in local Achami language. Is there anyone belong with the Acham? Thank you. The UN, media, NGOs, activists, perhaps few of you also using this word. This is entirely misinterpretation of the menstrual discrimination and misleading the menstrual movement. Isn't it heartbreaking? Menstrual discrimination is everywhere, all around the globe. Some are visible, some are not visible. Regardless of the caste, class, region, religion, or development, menstrual discrimination is practicing all around the globe, including Canada, Australia, Europe. It's not only about the poverty or education or ignorance. It's about the silence that is interlinked with the ideology of menstrual blood is impure, dirty, and state of weakness. Have you ever thought about your youngest age, like 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, while knowing something about menstruation from the gossip in a bathroom or in a pharmacy or hospitals? Did you remember your age? 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years? Please recall the moment you learn something about menstruation. You may see the menstrual pad or blood or advertisement in the television, something like that. Since the moment you learn that the menstrual blood is impure and dirty, that is the departure point of construction of unequal power, patriarchy, and exclusion. And that goes in a spiral way throughout the life cycle of the menstruators and non-menstruators. As a result, menstruators converted as a victim or survivors, and non-menstruators converted as a criminals or perpetrators. This is not their mistake. This is the mistake of our socialization, because we never talk about the menstrual discrimination. I believe many of you have been working around different kind of social justices and human rights. Economic empowerment, health, education, tourism. He talks about the corporate social responsibility, social work, everyone doing. But they are not doing one thing. They are not identifying, not acknowledging the root cause. That is the menstrual discrimination. In 1993, I believe you all know about that, the United Nations defined the sexual and gender-based violence. And your one menstrual practice For example, not entering into the kitchen or not touching the floor during menstruation fall under the two or more category of sexual and gender-based violence. Can you calculate in your mobile how many times the violence occurs in one cycle, in a 1 year and in a lifetime of menstruation? In one person in an average 8 years menstruate in total. Can you calculate how many times he experienced the sexual and gender-based violence, no matter where she is? We talk about the broken arms or something bruises. We are looking that kind of violence, but we are not seeing the violence which is happening every day and killing us every moment. Can you imagine if you are living in a 5-star hotel standards, you have a very fast internet, big television, attached bathroom with adequate water supply, you are allowed to use the old class menstrual pad, but you are not allowed to play with your siblings, to share the dining table in your kitchen with your parents and the brothers. What is your feeling? Do you feel empowered or are you empowering? Do you feel free? Do you feel living in a non-discrimination condition? Of course, no. Right to dignity, right to freedom, right to equality, right to non-discrimination are the fundamental principles of the human right. And while having the menstrual practices, while following the menstrual practices at the name of the religion, at the name of the tradition, at the name of the elders, at the name of the, oh, I feel so safe and secured, at the name of the different kind of excuses, you are violating your human rights. So please question yourself. This is a very high time. Being a Gen Z and even younger, if you don't think about it, who will think? In 1948, the Human Rights Declaration happened. It is already 78 years. None of the UN prioritized the menstrual discrimination as a violation of the human right. Isn't it sad? Everyone preaching human right here and there. It's very easy, but no one talk about the menstrual discrimination is a violation of the human right. You may think distribution of the menstrual pad freely or zero tax against the menstrual pad is the best way to dismantle the menstrual discrimination. That's not true. Not true at all. As you remember the earlier example, using the old class menstrual product or pad is not the way of guaranteeing your right to dignity, right to freedom, right to equality, right to non-discrimination. And other rights also may associate, like right to food, right to health, right to education, right to shelter, right to environment, right to women. There are so many rights. So distribution of the menstrual pad is not guaranteeing our human right. So in order to dismantle all visible and invisible form of menstrual discrimination practicing all around the globe, we need to follow the dignified menstruation. That is decolonized, holistic life cycle approach started from Nepal. Every 8th December is marked internationally as the International Dignified Menstruation Day since 2019. This is the symbol of the dignified menstruation. While seeing it look like the shape of the drop, and when you put the lines aptitude and latitude, that drop converted as a planet, and half of the planet is painted that symbolize the more than half of the population of this universe belong with the people who born with the uterus and ovaries. And because of the menstruation, even non-mensurators also born. You can see the different types of colors that represent the blood color of our one cycle. And because of this menstruation, we all born, this universe exists and moving forward for last 3 million years. And this is why dignified menstruation is not only my business. It is everyone's business because it is a human right. There is no excuses. There is no luxury. No matter where you work. If Keshavji would hear, I like to ask whether his tourism is really dignified menstruation friendly or not. There are the indicators for the corporate sectors, for the workplace, for the parliament, for the colleges, because menstruators are everywhere. Only the matters is the numbers. Right now, the theory of dignified menstruation have been working all around the country, all around the globe through different activities, publications, webinars. We conducted the trainings in Nepal and outside. You can get more information from the website dignifiedmenstruation.org. The story, the journey is really long. More than 4 decades struggle and success. It started from 1990. She is the person who is the pioneer for the concept of dignified menstruation globally. She is the 4th unwanted girl child of Father Devi Prasad Paudel and late mother Ganga Maya Paudel. She was deeply shocked and traumatized when she learned the menstruation when she was about 7 years old. She was witnessing the different kind of menstrual discriminated practices from her sisters, mothers, and in neighborhood. She did not like to live. Eventually, when she was about 9 years old, she left home, attempted suicide. Unfortunately, that was the failed attempt. Fortunately, she is speaking in front of you and challenging on you. Later, she worked as an anesthetic nurse. She anesthetized more than 6,000 patients during emergencies, specialized in public health nurse, and became the activist. She worked in very remote areas like Jumla, Bajura, Bajang. She worked in the very war-affected area during the Maoist insurgency, earthquake, flood, camp. She has been working in very difficult situations where even the government is unable to reach there, here in Nepal and outside of Nepal. Working as a social worker, coming from very poor rural family background, it is always very challenging. She faced different kind of challenges, blaming, accusation, rape threats, life-killing threats, but she never given up. How many of you able to share your dining table while someone menstruating in your family, like your mother, sister, or partner, or wife? Thank you. 17 years back, my mother passed away, and I did a death ritual along with my younger sister and younger brother. That time, my sister was menstruating. The things which is constructed by the society, we can dismantle. This is how we can smash the patriarchy. This is how we can cultivate the culture of the equality and inclusion. These words are not for saying or writing in the textbook. It's for the action when the moment arrives. So there is no glass ceiling for her. And I believe you have already turned on your data mobile. Please find the dignified menstruation in encyclopedia. Dignified menstruation is already included in encyclopedia, which is published from UK. And that is led by Radha from Nepal. She has written few books, academic, non-academic, fiction, non-fiction, from children to the adult, and you can find these books in national and international online platforms. And she has already contributed book chapters in more than 12 of international books. Before leaving this stage, I like to do one thing. If you like to follow me, feel free to follow. Menstruators and non-menstruators have equal human rights. Menstruators menstruate, they can have babies, they can feed breast milk. This is how they have the additional rights. But we never talk, we never claim, and the non-menstruators usually hesitate to facilitate. The dignified menstruation is the human right. And if you are really envisioning the tomorrow, you have to incorporate dignified menstruation no matter where you are. Thank you.